Aldrick followed her from the room, letting her lead him to where she wanted to train. What did you have in mind? Take out your vorpal sword. Drawing the sword and dropping it into a relaxed-looking guard, his feet spread evenly to keep the balance of his fighting stance. Ready. She takes out her greatsword, saying a quick prayer to Tiamat, and her luminescence glowing brighter. Ready when you are, she raises an eyebrow. Tyron watches them spar from the side. Aldrick feigned left, changing his footing at the last moment to bring the slash in on her right, a ferocious grin on his face. She steps back with a dexterous movement, jumping to the left and trying to strike him with all her might from his right. Shifting to parry the blow, trying to disarm her, Aldrick moved the sword in an exaggerated arc, using the momentum of her strike against her as their blades clashed. Her whole body gets shifted as she is using this two-handed, but she uses the momentum of the clash to swing around and come at Aldrick from the left. Aldrick snapped his sword to block, barely catching her blade on his as he managed to block. Wonderful! Preparing a counterstroke, darting the longsword forward in a swift downward slash that arched to the left. She gets a hand off the hilt of her blade, her muscles getting bigger as this takes a lot of her strength. She puts the free hand up to the blade to block this downward slash. She then lets the blade fall, gets her free hand on the hilt, and goes for a slash at the left shoulder. The slash seemed as though it was going to dig deeply into his shoulder, until Aldrick stepped back. The tip of the blade nearly grazed the pauldron of his armor, but missed by a hair. Returning the strike with one of his own, Aldrick used his free hand to grab at her wrist, trying to keep the blade down. She once again lets go of the hilt with one hand. As it's a reflex, she grabs Aldrick's lower arm to stop the blade from moving towards her. She looks him deep in the eyes with a lust of war, but also a wash of nervousness and care. Aldrick, returning her gaze and getting lost in her eyes for a moment, appeared to have left himself wide on the left, before dropping his blade, reaching for her hand with his. She drops her blade too. It clatters on the ground loudly. She also reaches for his hand. Grabbing her hand, he wrapped her up in his arms, pulling her closer to him, so our faces were nearly touching, a primal growl low in his throat as he did. She shudders a bit as this happens, shooting a quick look at Tyron, but in his arms she seems to let all fears go. "You were amazing out there," she whispers as she gets closer, her long hair falling in a way that it covers one of her eyes. Aldrick leans in and gives her a kiss, enjoying it for a long moment before pulling back. "You were quite amazing at yourself, and you fought even better," a playful grin on his face. After finishing this kiss, she undoes herself from his grip. I really have to go freshen up, you know? Fighting and stuff makes you real sweaty. I'll be right back." She will proceed on to the bathroom and goes to squeal and jump and stuff, which will take a long while. Taking the time to watch her leave, the smile still on his face before turning to Tyron. "Enjoy the show? Lots of holes in your defense. You're putting on a dance, not a spar. Considering I didn't use my shield, I would definitely say there were a few. Though, would you not say the Song of Swords is the best to dance to? I wouldn't rely on my magic for solely defense. You should know if your magic fails, you're gonna be weakened." "Magic?" Eyeing you strangely. "Enhanced. I'm not talking about physical defenses like our shields. Don't forget we come from different places, we call things differently. Grabbing the silver shield off his back,